Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. I just wanted to hop on really quick to post another video today because we actually have some pretty big, pretty significant news coming out of the LCS. Now, usually on Saturdays, I only post one video because when the LEC is going on and the LCS is going on, my videos don't get as many views. Again, if people are watching that stuff, they're not watching YouTube. They're not watching League of Legends videos. They're watching competitive. That's what we're all here for. That's what we all talk about. But again, COVID is popping up and causing some issues. I think this is really shitty news. Honestly, I mean, this sucks. This is pretty horrible. We're going to go through a couple of statements from the LCS commissioner himself, Chris Greeley, talk about what the LCS is planning on doing for the upcoming weeks, planning on what they're doing for the playoffs. I mean, this really has the chance of impacting not only the LCS regular season, the LCS playoffs, but really looking ahead, it could go back to impacting Worlds as well, which would be such a shame after, you know, we had all the issues last year with everything. And I mean, it just seems like this stuff is never going to end. It's so unfortunate, but we're going to be going over all the updates today so you guys can know what's going on headed into this weekend and into the future. Definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video. I would appreciate it so much. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content and consider checking out my Patreon over on patreon.com/IamGerm if you want to go a little extra further, help and support me, my channel, and my content. With that being said, let's get right into this. So this is the first statement from LCS Commissioner Chris Greeley. He said, well, I guess they just put this out, and they said, earlier today, the LCS learned that Immortals who will be undergoing quarantine, Immortals will be undergoing quarantine due to a pair of positive COVID-19 tests. In conjunction with Immortals, we're currently undergoing contact tracing to understand who, if anyone else, may have been impacted. We wish those who tested positive a swift recovery. So obviously that sucks, you know, getting positive tests. It doesn't sound like it was any of the players, but I don't know for sure. Immortals has come out and said that all of their players were vaccinated. Again, it seems like even if you are vaccinated, you can still get COVID, but you know, who knows exactly what's going on? Who knows if they are having symptoms? Who knows if they just tested positive? Who knows if it was false positive? You know, we don't know. The whole details are obviously not going to tell us a bunch, but it does seem like a couple people related to Immortals got COVID, which sucks, and that's obviously a very big scare, especially right now when, especially in the United States, you know, I don't really know that much about internationally, but I know in the United States, COVID numbers everywhere are going up. I work in healthcare. We are slowly kind of bringing back some of the COVID rules. Like, we kind of started doing away with the COVID rules. Stuff's starting to come back a little bit, which does suck. Like, people are starting to have to wear masks more. We're having to wear face shields more. We're having to wear the extra mask more often. Like, all this stuff. Things are definitely trending in the wrong direction as numbers continue to spike, rates. Now there's this whole Delta variant or whatever the heck's going on, you know, who even knows? But it seems like things are getting worse rather than better. Just like last year when things got better in the summer and then way worse in the winter and fall. Obviously we're still in summer, so things should be okay, but headed into the fall and winter, it's getting a little bit dicier. It's looking a little bit like worse and worse each week, which sucks. No one wants to see that. This weekend, Immortals will play their 3 LCS matches remotely, and their opponents have been given the option to play remotely as well. During those matches, we'll be instituting a brief delay, among other measures, to ensure competitive integrity. That sucks. I think the delays really hurt the viewing experience so much. I already think the gap between games is too long, and I think a lot of people say that. Like, right now, it seems like there's just filler content after ad break, after commercial break, 3-minute break, 3-minute break, come back, talk about nothing for 5 minutes, go to a 3-minute break, come back, talk about nothing for 5 minutes, in between every game, and it's really unbearable. It really breaks up, like, the hype and excitement. People want to be able to watch games. People want to get into the games. People want to see what's going on. You know, I'm just thinking, like, when you watch like NFL football on Sunday, like literally the game goes from 12 to 3, and then as soon as that game's over, the next game has already started, or it's like about to start in like 2 minutes, and they just, you know, keep going to the action all day long. And the LCS does not have that. And if we're going to have to put in even extra delays for going online, that's going to suck. It's really not a good viewing experience. It really does suck. He said, however, that they do expect all other LCS matches and broadcast elements to proceed normally. So it didn't sound that bad in the end. Kind of sucked, kind of scary. But the big new update coming out is that tonight, which I believe was last night, the LCS learned of another positive COVID test connected to a staff member of an LCS team. So again, not a player, which, you know, is maybe a little bit better, but some staff members coming down with stuff. Out of an abundance of caution, we've made the decision to have all pro players return to remote play environment for the rest of the weekend. We'd like to reinforce that this is cautionary. In both cases, the positive test that came from people have not been on site at the LCS arena, which has people a little bit upset. They're saying if these 3 positive tests are people who haven't even been on site in the LCS, and they're not even going to be on site in the LCS, and if everyone who has been on site at the LCS and is going to be on site at the LCS has tested negative, then why can we not have it in the studio still? People are saying that's weird. Obviously, maybe these people are coming into contact with their teams and stuff back at the houses and everything, but then they're just going to go play remotely at those houses. Obviously, I hope these people will not be there and they're going to be quarantined and all that, but, it seems kind of weird. Like, we have the testing in place and everything, and if no one that was even going to be in the studio is testing positive, then some people are upset. I understand both sides for sure, but there is some people who are not necessarily happy about this. They will continue to produce the rest of the broadcast from the arena this weekend, but as a result of players playing remotely, POV feeds will not be available on ProView. Again, this is another thing that sucks. People paying for ProView, people so excited that it's back. It's really good content. People really like watching it, and now ProView comes back for like a couple weeks, and then it's gone again. Also, think it's weird that the staff can still be in the arena. Like, they're still going to be able to broadcast from the arena, which is good because holy shit, the quality of the broadcast is so much better at the studio than it is from home. But the whole thing is way better in the studio. Being able to see the players, being able to see those hype moments, being able to create content with the players when they're in the studio is something that Riot can't do as well from home. The interviews, everything is so much better when the players, the teams, the staff, the kind of casters, everything, when everyone's in the studio, the whole thing is way better. I mean, we saw last year how hard the numbers dropped off once stuff went online. We saw the complaints from everyone once stuff went online. It is just not as good of a product when things are online. Yes, you got to be safe about COVID. Yes, things are looking worse and worse each week. Yes, they are having some positive tests pop up, and yes, they are in Los Angeles, which is a very strict area as far as COVID and everything goes, and it seems like things are starting to shut down over there, so they have to be careful about that as well. So going into week 9, which should be next week, they are going to determine if it's safe to bring teams back into the arena. Again, this will be next week, the last week of the regular season, and after leaving the studio with everyone this week, are they really just going to bring everybody back next week? I really doubt it because, again, things are trending in the wrong direction. It seems like positive numbers are going to keep spiking. It seems like this Delta variant is going to keep popping up. I really expect players to be in the studio for the rest of the regular season, and then how is this going to impact the playoffs? Are the playoffs all going to be online again? That sucks because the playoffs online are so not hype. Seeing players win the trophy from like their house and stuff like that, that sucks. The interviews not being able to be in person, the trash talk not being able to be in person, it really makes it way worse. And again, it would suck that we waited all 2020 and now we're like 2/3 of the way through 2021 and we're taking steps back. And then not only is this going to affect the LCS playoffs, which at the end of the day aren't that big of a deal, how is this going to affect things internationally? How's the LEC going to respond? All of that. But then also, how are things going to be impacted at the global stage? How is this going to affect Worlds? Are we going to be able to play Worlds? Is every country going to be able to make it there? Are there going to be travel restrictions? Are there going to be crazy quarantine rules? Are the players going to be able to be in person, or are they going to have to play in little areas and stuff? I don't know. It's a very scary time, and it absolutely sucks because we just went through everything like this last year, and now it seems like we're going to be going through it again. If we just lose a couple of weeks of LCS regular season, whatever, I think it would suck, but I would be totally fine with that. If we start losing playoffs, that sucks even more. And if we lose Worlds again, if we lose a hype Worlds, we deserve a big event. It should be a celebration. It should be a party. And if it's just something kind of lackluster again, that would be very tragic. But this is the latest news. This is the update. This is what's going on with the LCS this week and into the coming future. Definitely drop a like if you guys did enjoy this video. I'd appreciate it so much. Leave a comment down below. What do you think about this whole situation? You think the LCS is overreacting? You think this is a good move by them? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Consider checking out my Patreon, patreon.com/IamJerm. Hopefully get you guys to the next one. But until then, peace.